NTA International News.
Towards ensuring stability in Mali, President Goodluck Jonathan joins 14 heads of state and government to witness peace pact. Friends of President-elect offer prayers for a smooth transition. State governors challenged to accord welfare of their workers priority rather than blame federal government. And boosting the health sector, Chinese government donates life support ambulances to Nigeria. Hello and welcome to the news. I'm Taiwo Odugbeson. Thanks for joining us. Steps towards the stability of Mali recorded a boost as the Tuareg-led rebels signed a preliminary peace agreement with the government to end decades of separatist fighting. President Goodluck Jonathan led the Nigerian delegation to the peace pact, witnessed by 14 heads of state and government, including ECOWAS, AU and EU, as well as OIC. State House correspondent Segun Lawole reports.
Mali, since independence, had inherited a crisis of the combined revolts of Tuaregs and Arabs against the government, demanding autonomy of the northern region. Several attempts at finding solution to the political crisis never worked. It is on record that President Jonathan visited Mali in 2012 and had interactions with all the stakeholders and also attended various fora organized on the crisis between 2012 and 2013, apart from the millions of dollars donated by the federal government to end the crisis. However, since July 2014, when all parties agreed to go to the Algiers talks, the African heads of states and government have watched with keen interest the developments, and finally, on 14 May 2015, all parties, including the other coalition made up of radical movements, agreed and initialed the Algiers Agreement. 14 African heads of state and government, including President Jonathan, witnessed the signing of the Agreement on Peace and Reconciliation by the government of Mali, the coalition of movements called the Platform, and the movement of Azawad. The mediation committee members, comprising Algeria, Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, Mauritania, ECOWAS, AU, EU and OIC, including Nigeria, all also signed the peace pact. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Aminu Wali signed on behalf of Nigeria. However, the separatists still wanted more guarantees before signing the final accord. Nigeria still has a 140-strong unit of police formation in Timbuktu and 100 signal squadron in Gao, Mali. President Jonathan has since returned to Abuja. In the State House, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
And the 8th Emergency Summit of African First Ladies held a dinner where Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, says that she believes the African First Ladies Peace Mission will continue to play an important role in the search for peaceful resolution of conflict and its prevention on the continent. She said this at the farewell dinner for delegates to the summit of the mission in Abuja. State House correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
The dinner reception at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa Abuja was to appreciate the First Ladies and members of the delegation for attending the emergency summit and electing a new president for the body. Dame Patience Jonathan used the event to thank all her colleagues for the confidence reposed in her and support accorded her to succeed in the assignment of reviving the organization.
Please, as you have worked with me, keep it up and work with the new executives so that this mission can succeed.
Meanwhile, Dame Patience Jonathan has received the most impressive African First Lady Award of the year from the Abia Newspapers and Publishing Corporation. The newspaper, while presenting the award to the First Lady at the State House, said she was chosen for the award for her excellence and humanitarian service in Nigeria, Africa, and the world.
You have also made peace an identity. You have made peace a way of life in this country. If all Nigerians should blow the trumpet of conscience, a great number will forever remember your good works and that of President Goodluck Jonathan.
Then Patient Jonathan thanked them for the award and said she's grateful to God and Nigerians for giving her the opportunity to contribute to national development.
I also wish to thank you for your kind words, which I find most encouraging in acknowledging my little contributions. It is most reassuring that I can always count on your support.
From the presidential villa Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
The successful election of General Muhammadu Buhari as the President of Nigeria was a true manifestation of God's response to prayers. This was the submission of Buhari Friends Organization Network, who are also of the opinion that the time to pray for the nation and the president elect is now, as the nation prepares for transition. Saliu Abdullahi was at a prayer session organized by the group in Abuja and filed in this report.
As the Eagle Square in Abuja, the nation's capital, is gradually coming alive with renovation work, which demonstrates the nation's readiness to usher in a new government come May 29. This group of people, known as Buhari Friends Organization Network, decided to welcome the incoming administration of their friend, the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, with interdenominational prayer for smooth transition. The group, made up of APC supporters from across the country, irrespective of religion or tribal difference, believe the only way to support the smooth takeover of power by the President-elect is by giving him spiritual support. This they did with 6 days of fasting, which they are rounding off with this prayer session.
Is to continue to pray for our leaders, both the outgoing and the incoming. Arise over every man and woman who will come to manipulate Buhari.
This event is to disabuse the minds of many Nigerians who have believed that Buhari, General Muhammadu Buhari, President-elect, is a fundamentalist.
The group also appealed to Nigerians to support the incoming government of General Muhammadu Buhari for speedy realization of the desired change.
We want to also pray for God to give him vision, give him wisdom in the process of choosing his cabinet, very importantly to work with him, because JMB would be a good person as known by everybody, but the team that may surround him, he is not God to really know how good these people are.
Majority of people will tell you that democracy or politicians has divided us. Agreed, but now the same politics have bring us back together.
Buhari Friends Organization Network is a coalition of about 7 different Buhari support groups. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Tempers were high at the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee meeting over non-payment of salaries by some state governors as accrued revenue drops to record low, as 388.339 billion naira was shared among the federating units. Minister of State for Finance and Chairman of FAAC, Bashir Yuguda, at a media briefing on the outcome of the meeting, maintained that state governors should put the welfare of their workers first rather than blame the federal government over salary debt. Leah Katung Babatunde reports.
A significant proportion of workers in the country have gone unpaid for some months. While the states blame the federal government for their inability to pay salaries, the federal government says if the governors had prioritized the welfare of the workers, the public outcry will be subdued. Minister of State for Finance Bashir Yuguda says states also need to improve their internally generated revenue drive.
And we keep telling the subnational level of government that we need to look at the reality on ground. But the first priority for each state government or for the federal government is the welfare of the workers, that is salary.
Chairman of the Commissioners Forum, Timothy Oda, who laid credence to the submission of the minister, says the erring governors ought to be more alive to their responsibilities.
Payment of salaries, I think, is not an achievement. No president or governor or local government chairman can come and boast that is able to pay salaries, because The salaries are built in the allocation. It's supposed to be priority.
388.339 billion naira was distributed, with statutory revenue pegged at 282 billion naira, VAT 75 billion naira, exchange gain on foreign currency 24.7 billion naira, and 6.33 billion naira refund by the NNPC. The $1.48 billion to be refunded to the Federation account by the NNPC, as directed by President Goodluck Jonathan, was however not reflected in the outcome of the meeting. In Abuja, Leah Katung-Babatunde, NTA News.
And from a health desk, report says nine Nigerian federal tertiary health institutions have benefited from 12 units of life support ambulances donated by the Chinese government to strengthen her capacity in the post-Ebola containment plan. Chinese ambassador to Nigeria presented the vehicles on behalf of his country. Fatima Liu has the details.
Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Health, Linus Awiti, received the vehicles on behalf of the minister. The fully kitted life support ambulances will also help the benefiting federal teaching hospitals and medical centers across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to save more lives, especially accident victims, promptly due to their strategic locations. Though Ebola, the hemorrhage disease, which has claimed over 11,000 lives across the globe, has long been eradicated in Nigeria, the fact that it is still prevalent in the West African sub-region calls for concerted efforts to re-strategize against its spread.
So this is, and I think definitely will make an influence, make an impact on the already existing very good relation between China and Nigeria, because public health is very important in our relation, in our cooperation. We applaud the efforts by the government of Nigeria and the people to contain Ebola. And also we are very appreciative of the efforts by the Nigeria government to lend support to other Ebola-affected countries.
It's a classical example of a working collaboration. We have never found the Chinese wanting in the job demands of partnership.
Other benefiting institutions and agencies are Nigerian Center for Disease Control, Federal Ministry of Health, and the Nigerian Police Force, Kuche. In Abuja, Fatima Ali, NTA News.
Equitable social and economic development is believed to depend on fair legal frameworks and social norms that support the rights of women and children. This was the thrust of an event organized by concerned Nigerians as they joined the rest of the world to mark International Day of Families. Obiageli Ukoke completes the story.
The United Nations General Assembly proclaimed on the 20th September 1993 that 15th May of every year be observed as the International Day of Families. In Nigeria, the celebration has inspired series of awareness on parental care for the children and care for the less privileged families. We want them to know that without families, there will be no society. The decay we're having around the world is because of the kind of families that parents. In Kabuza community in Abuja, several items like clothes, snacks, footwear, drinks, and writing materials were distributed to the less privileged by Show Smile Women and Children Initiative Group. The 2015 observance of the International Day of Families aims at promoting gender equality and rights of children within families with the theme Men in Charge. In Abuja, Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
The 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, after reviewing security situation in Maiduguri, decided to relax the curfew. A statement by the Deputy Director Public Relations Division, Colonel Tukur Gusau, indicates that movement is now from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening until further notice. Meanwhile, residents of Maiduguri have been advised to go on their normal duties activities within the stipulated period and also continue to monitor the media for updates. Meanwhile, reports say a suicide bomber has detonated an explosive device at Damaturu Motor Park. This is the news on NTA International from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. Earlier in the news, you heard that President Jonathan has joined 14 heads of states and government, including ECOWAS, AU, EU, and OIC, to witness a peace pact aimed at ensuring stability in Mali. Ahead in the news, Minister of Youth and National Orientation urges Christians to live in conformity with biblical standard. Plus, stories that made headlines during the week. Stay tuned for details. The rights of citizens to speak, organize, take action, as well as ask for their needs and to counter what they do not want was the thrust of the 2015 Global Day of Citizens Action 2015. Correspondent Rhoda Obo has the details.
As part of its global campaign to raise awareness about civic space, freedom of expression and association, the annual platform seeks to educate the citizens on how to utilize their individual views and expressions towards contributing to the much-needed rapid social economic development.
Followers and so on, who put down their everything for us to achieve independence, for us to have that kind of freedom to call ourselves a people, to call ourselves Nigerians. How much have we done as the generation of today to leverage on that kind of struggle?
Involve the communities, the religious leaders, the world leaders. It's the only way we're going to win the battle.
Poverty, inadequate legislation, ignorance of existing rights and privileges, particularly at the grassroots, were identified as some of the factors militating against attaining civic action.
People can actually speak out, organize and take action.
A shift from mere expression to practical action in providing solutions to societal issues will act as a catalyst for attaining the theme for this year's celebration, which is Citizens' Action and Civic Space in Nigeria. In Abuja, Rhoda Obo, NTA News.
It's time to join Musa for Weekend Review.
Hello and welcome to this Week in Review. President Goodluck Jonathan has reassured Nigerians that he will continue to serve the country as he bows out of office. President Jonathan said this while speaking at the Thanksgiving and Farewell service in his honor and the First Lady Dame Patience at the Cathedral Church of Advent at Life Camp in Abuja.
For me, when I look at the whole picture of my life, I'm ending up as the president of this country. I said that, look, if soldiers and police officers that have not received 0.5% of the benefits I've received from the state can lay their life for this country, I should do anything for the interest of Nigeria, including paying the supreme price.
And from the biblical perspective, you've made yourself a child of God. Because blessed are the peacemakers. As you thank God today, we also celebrate the fact that you are coming out with Mama Peace and Mama Nigeria alive. You have broken the games. of this thing we don't understand whether it is a presidential mortality syndrome in Aston Villa. You have broken that thing. Mr. President, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord protect you. May the Lord lift you up again in other places, because you are now a hero for Africa.
In another development, President Goodluck Jonathan's act in conceding defeat at the magnitude of General Buhari in victory re-echoed as Council of State held its last meeting under the present administration.
And we hope that this convention and this tradition that we have established will continue in our subsequent elections, and people really, those who have been defeated, to accept, and those who have been elected to be magnanimous in their victory.
Chairman of the incoming Government's Transition Committee, Alhaji Ahmed Joda, has denied any misunderstanding with the outgoing Administration Transition Committee. Ahmed Joda made the declaration shortly after the meeting of the committee at the presidential villa in Abuja.
Our committee has never said to anybody that there is no cooperation. We have never said that. And we are waiting for the reports for when they come.
The meeting was very, very fruitful, very cordial. There is certainly no issue. We are flowing and we have clearer understanding of the workings of the two committees.
Also during the week, President Idris Deby of Chad Republic congratulated President Jonathan over the statesmanship he demonstrated during the general elections. President Deby was speaking while on solidarity visit to Nigeria. He described President Jonathan as a true Democrat whose actions allowed peace to reign in Nigeria. The two leaders at a meeting earlier agreed to continue working together in the fight against Boko Haram. Similarly, while receiving President Deby, Nigeria's President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari says the incoming administration will review and sustain the collaboration between Nigeria and Chad in the fight against Boko Haram.
Free occupation in this region is a cause of Boko Haram, and we have known how Chad, Nigeria, and Cameroon have been helping Nigeria, and God willing, when the government gets in place, we will against it and make sure we have a comprehensive review of the situation in that area and how it affects our people.
Also meeting former British Prime Minister Tony Blair in Abuja, General Buhari commended the international community for the support accorded Nigeria towards its general elections.
The fact that it has been so successful is a major relief to us and to all people of conscience throughout the world.
Nigeria has earned the respect of the whole world. There is enormous support for Nigeria now in the international community, support in meeting the challenges that lie ahead, but there's also great confidence in the country. This was an election that took place in a way in which the country showed the maturity of its democracy, the spirit and character of its people, and in the President-elect and Vice President-elect, it is a leadership that I know is determined to do its very best for the country.
Benin Republic President Boni Yayi also joined other African leaders on solidarity visit to President Goodluck Jonathan and the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari.
President is a very great statesman. I would like to thank him because I'm President of Benin, independent of Nigeria. What he did here did benefit to us in Benin and in our all sub-region.
The First Lady emphasized that the interest of the nation must be always put first before any interests.
Nigeria will meant to be peaceful. It's by peace we will mean all what we are looking for. We cannot get it by struggling. The main idea, by the time we start fighting one another, the more we take it all. So we must learn to support one another, and we must learn to be peaceful in everything we are doing.
That was Musa Musa on the Week in Review. The Minister of Youth and National Orientation, Boni Haruna, has urged Christians to live their lives in conformity with biblical standard. He gave the advice at a prize-giving ceremony for participants of 2014 Bible memorization competition in Abuja. Correspondent Rotimi Oluwagbemi's report is here presented.
In his address entitled Studying the Scripture, the Minister of Youth and National Orientation, Boni Haruna, enjoined youth to devote more time to studying the Bible for divine guidance. He described the Bible as a light that can be used to transform the society.
Every word of the Bible should conform with what is expected of you as a Christian.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission, John Kennedy Okpara, represented by Ifeoma Onachukwu, said the program will help build the youth in the way of the Lord.
For every society, once you are able to imbibe in the little ones and then the youth what is actually right, then you are almost home.
The initiator of the program also has this to say.
Very importantly, not only to memorize the Bible, but to allow their lives to be conformed to the what is written in the Word of God, the Bible.
Each of the participants went home with a copy of the Holy Bible, while the 3 best candidates will be sponsored to Israel during this year's Christian pilgrimage.
That's the size of our package. Thanks for watching. I'm Taiwo Otugbeso.